get justice for Jennifer. If you guys think I'm backing off, I have respect for law enforcement, or I should say I had respect. But your mother taught you the difference between right and wrong a long time ago, young man. And this is wrong. This officer should not be representing San Marcos. This officer should not be representing your police department. It's not fair that he drags you into this even. And you guys are just standing behind him just like the police union is and just like this city is. And it's wrong.
Okay, can I speak to that just briefly?
What's
You may
the
not want to hear
distraction?
it. You may not want to hear it, but that's why I'm asking you. Do I have your permission to speak to that briefly?
Yes.
Okay, so I come along mid-November. I didn't even know anything about this. So I get here, I start employment. I learn about this. In a civil service agency, the agency head, in this case the chief of police, only has 180 days to administer any type of discipline. By law, you cannot discipline an officer for anything.
I don't care what your problem is. Y'all should have started that process a lot earlier than you did.
Because
can I
his
finish?
leadership was notified at the time of the accident.
Yes.
Can I finish?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not here, so I'm not going to speak to any of those decisions. When I get here, I learned in December that the grand jury no-billed the person. Okay, so then the first
Do
thing...
you even care whether they looked at the element of alcohol? Do you even care if they look at the road he traveled on, which was a one-lane gravel road? Anybody could have been going from the other direction at any time. They were all blind curves, and this man goes down it. Back then it had potholes. I encourage you to go out there and drive that road and tell me what sane person would have hauled ass 46 miles an hour down that road. And he passed a 30-mile-an-hour sign. He passed the junction 130 sign. He passed the divided highway sign. He had 2 stop signs at that intersection. Did he hit his brakes? No. He had
stopped.
reactionary time to do that because Lockhart PD took the time to actually time how many seconds he had to recognize those warning signs. He had time to stop. He certainly had time to hit his damn brakes. He accelerated. He hit the accelerator through that intersection, killing Jennifer in a 2-ton pickup truck with a full replacement cattle guard. And everybody's letting him off the hook. And it is just wrong.
Okay, can I finish? You said you wanted to hear me out. So I cannot speak to anything that the investigating agency did, or the district attorney, or the grand jury. That is completely outside of my wheelhouse.
Why are you here?
Because I wanted to explain from the perspective of the employer. That's what
Y'all only want to explain that to me when I have news cameras around and you get a photo opportunity.
No, you and I
Not
had
one
this conversation.
We had
You and I
one
had this
November
conversation.
2nd. We had one conversation November 2nd.
Yeah, so in fairness, you and I have had this conversation. I wanted to visit with you again because there's a lot of misinformation out there. From the employment perspective, I have to go by the rule of law. The rule of law says I have 180 days as the chief administrator to effect discipline. That 180 days expired. By the time I get here, I learned that the grand jury has returned a no-bill. So by law, in a civil service agency, you cannot terminate his employment.
Why didn't his supervisor...
Hang on, I'm talking to her right now. So I
But why
can't
didn't his
terminate the
supervisor
employment
tell you
because
the
of that
chief at
reason.
the time?
You know, I don't really care what you're saying right now
Oh,
because
okay.
that is just constraints. Your predecessor should have done something.
That's right.
So if
That's
you
right.
took over the office after he did, you still have to stand in those shoes and act as if it were him. He should have acted. There was enough information out there, and I guarantee you, I'll release every damn bit of it because the public needs to know, and we need to start having transparency in our legal system. The fact that that one elected official can go behind closed doors and tell a grand jury God knows what, or omit God knows what. I have no way of proving what evidence he put forth. The Attorney General's office told me he had full discretion to present or hold back whatever evidence he chose to. What is that? Do you call that justice? I don't call that justice. We're supposed to be governed by a group of our peers. This should at the very least have gone to a damn jury. He kept that from happening. He halted a criminal negligent homicide investigation. He did not present it as that. He presented it as distracted driving. If it had been your wife or your child, would you be happy with that? No, sir, you would not. And I will not shut up I will not be appeased, and I will not stop until that man is no longer wearing a uniform for anybody.
Right.
The judgments that he made that day weren't just one, weren't just two. There were so many negligent acts committed that day, and people forget. I mean, it's like I hear people saying, well, he didn't have any alcohol in his system. Well, they didn't draw his damn blood for 3 hours, and he's a big guy. He could have metabolized 3 beers and come up totally clean.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you
And he knows that.
can't act like there was no alcohol involved in this issue. I dare y'all to prosecute one DWI case in this city or this county between now and the time he's terminated, because I will make a laughing stock out of the PD, out of him, and out of this county. I dare you. Go ahead. Put him on the stand. I will be their chief witness, and I intend to be.
Sir, how was he distracted?
On the